Sorry, the earlier video got disrupted by somehow. So moreover, what happens, the government can also invest in the infrastructural facilities of the economy, like it can bring about well connected roads, then it can also bring about dams and irrigation, other irrigation works. It can bring about school, colleges and other public sector units, which helps in generating the other production activities in the economy, which will help in improving the GDP growth. Okay, because always remember, the government sector provides a foundation for the other sectors, that is the private sector, to produce other things, because the government sector invests in such sectors like iron and steel, then your defense, law and order, sanitation, water supply, electricity. All these things have got railways, all these things have got a large amount of investment and very less returns. So here the private sector does not come up. So when the government provides such foundation, it helps. That is why I said that the government can spend in the infrastructure facilities, which provides a foundation for the other sectors, or it generates other production activities or encourages other production activities, which will help in improving the GDP growth. Okay. Now next is reducing regional disparities. Now many regions are there which are backward. Okay, which do not have banks, which do not have any factories or industries there. They are very backward. Okay, they don't have electricity. If the government now takes up initiative to develop those areas by bringing about factories there or other production units there, or giving private producers some incentives or tax incentives or subsidies, so that they go there and set up a production unit, so that the people there can benefit. Because if they set up a production unit, banks will come up, roads will be developed, electricity will come. So the government, in this way, either they go themselves set up a public sector unit there, or invest in those rural areas, or they encourage the private individuals by giving them tax incentives and subsidies, so that they go and invest there, which will reduce the regional disparities. Okay. Now we will go to the components of the budget. Now the budget has got two components, revenue budget and capital budget. Revenue budget shows how the government earns its revenue and how is it allocated among the various expenditure heads. How the government earns revenue and how the revenue is allocated among the various expenditure heads. Now, revenue budget has got two parts, revenue receipts and revenue expenditure. Capital budget deals with the capital aspect of the government. So revenue budget deals with the revenue aspect of the government, how it is earning the revenue and how is it distributing it among the various expenditures. Capital budget deals with the capital aspect of the government, and it consists of capital receipts and capital expenditures. Now, the components of budget can be categorized according to the receipts and expenditure. On this basis, two broad components are there, budget receipts and budget expenditure. So one was revenue budget and capital budget, and another way of categorizing budget is according to receipt and expenditure. So that is budget receipt and budget expenditure. Okay. Now first we will come to the budget receipt. Budget receipt is the estimated money receipts of the government from all sources during a given fiscal year. Means whatever are the possible sources from which the government earns their revenue. Okay, so estimates of that, all the possible sources from which the government can earn revenue. So all the estimates of all those possible sources is the budget receipt. So budget receipts refers to the estimated money receipts of the government from all the possible sources in a fiscal year. Now under the budget receipts we have got revenue receipt and capital receipt. Now what is revenue receipt? Revenue receipt refers to those receipts which neither create any liability nor cause any reduction in the asset of the government. So revenue receipts neither create any liability for the government nor it reduces the reserves of the government or the assets of the government. Now they are regular and recurring in nature, and government receives them in normal course of activity. So revenue receipts are regular in nature and the government goes on receiving it in normal course. Now, the following two conditions are: the receipt must not create a liability for the government, the receipt must not decrease the assets. So these are the two main conditions. So we had budget receipt, which shows the estimates of all the receipts of the government from all possible sources in a fiscal year. After budget receipt has got two parts, that is revenue receipt and capital receipt. Under revenue receipts are those which do not increase the liabilities of the government and decrease its assets or cause any reduction in the asset. So the main two criteria of revenue receipt must be that it should not increase the liability of the government and not reduce the asset of the government. Okay.